Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. We are back for that story about the crocodiles. Who's ready for 30-second recap? Is it you?
I'm ready. I'm going to do my best. I have some names though. Is that okay?
Yeah, names are okay. Ready, set, go.
Lena's heading home after finishing her degree in America, where degrees are cheap and plentiful, and she just broke up with her boyfriend named Jason because he wanted to stay in America forever in the Midwest and get all the jobs because things are finally recovering, but she wanted to go back to her family's crocodile farm. We can't figure out why it's such a big deal that she has a crocodile farm until we find out it's because they feed people to the crocodiles, but mainly dead rich people that they found in the tombs, and we're not really sure why, and her mom keeps trying to set her up with people, and she's introduced her to a nice guy, Feiruz, and they hit it off, and he's not freaked out by the crocodiles, and we consider that a win.
All right, that was pretty good. So what did you think?
It was fun.
Yeah.
But I felt like I came away with more questions than I expected to have.
A lot of questions, yeah. Yeah, a lot of questions. It was a bit of a different one.
I don't know. I mean, as someone who, like all of America, has recently watched The Tiger King,
I haven't watched it.
It seemed familiar.
Yeah. I haven't watched it. So is this like a gateway to Tiger King, do you think?
I just think Carol Baskin might feel like coming here.
All right. Do you want to start with your hover today?
Yes.
It's pretty topical.
It is, but it's not about Carol Baskin.
Okay.
So when I came away from the story, my question was why? Why feeding people's half-decomposed bodies you found in the tombs of the old rich to crocodiles? It seemed like a lot of work. Like, she called her mom. She's like, oh, we got to get on that. We got to get in there and get those bodies. That can't be the most efficient means of feeding the crocodiles. Mm-hmm. The Walmart meat truck is the most efficient way of feeding the crocodiles.
Is this something you learned from Tiger King?
This is something I learned from Tiger King. And even if it's the future, like, there has to be a cheaper source than, like, a handful of old rich people. So that told me that it had to be some sort of, like, philosophical thing that really gives them pleasure. But
yeah, I don't think...
Why?
Okay, I think I know why. It's because they're paid to. They're paid by the people who want the people not to notice so much about these tombs and for the problem to quietly go away. And I think there's mention that there's like... My interpretation was that there was no religiously appropriate way to deal with these people. And so if you kind of quietly shuffle them off to the crocodile farm and then set them a little bit of money to make this problem go away.
I see. So they're doing a service, and I just missed that.
I think they're doing a service.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that seems to be one of their main money generators, is quietly disposing of...
Wait, so did I just misread that entire story?
Old rich corpses. I don't know. I mean, that was my interpretation. I don't know if it was all in the text, but I think that was...
So they were hustling off of it. It was like, to go get it because they're going to want us to take care of these bodies, not... Yeah, we have to go hustle before someone else gets these sweet, sweet bodies.
Yeah, no, I don't know that there were others. I don't know if there were others that were bidding on these.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it back. Tiger King may not be an informative way to broach this, and I may have made some missteps.
That's okay. I mean, so it opens up the topic of the old rich, mm-hmm. And apparently now, what was it? It's like shameful to be associated with the old rich because the old rich were exploiting. Energy costs, mm-hmm. and trying to make money off of the energy crisis, and now that is considered to be like beyond the pale, and so you would not want to have any association with these people, and that's supposed to be like just a century from now, which I think is pretty different. Mm-hmm. We don't really see that now. No. But her family is new rich, and that's like cool. That's okay.
Just crocodile rich,
and that's all right. Just not this sort of old bunker yourself in your tomb after you've, exploited the whole world. That's not okay. Yeah. Yeah. But solving a problem in a sustainable way is okay.
Good for all.
Okay, my question. So we've read a lot of books and stories where either it's not far in the future and everything's a mess, mm-hmm. or it's like really far in the future and like maybe things are okay now. There's also some ones where it's really far in the future and things are still a mess. But like you take something like I guess Firewall is kind of in between, but I guess my question here is, this is only supposed to be about a century from now, and the author alludes to there being an energy crisis, refugee crisis, The various governments have like militarized, and there's been a recession, and all of that to me points to a lot more apocalypse than what we're seeing. So why do things seem to be relatively okay?
You're saying the refugee crisis is not enough apocalypse? You want
Well,
more apocalypse?
no, it's a century on from this stuff.
Yeah.
Ish, it sounds like.
Okay.
And it sounds like things are going like relatively all right, considering that all this stuff apparently happened between now and then. Because they don't mention like further references to.
I guess so. My takeaway was a little bit different. Is that if I read militarization across the world and a refugee crisis, I thought that was kind of like this situation.
So how is it that a century hence like everything's okay?
So how do things get okay from like?
How do things get okay? Yeah. Or do you reject the premise that
I
it's
reject
okay?
I reject the premise that things are okay.
Okay.
Or, I guess two things. So one, I reject the premise that things are okay. Because I don't think the United States is okay in this. Like, they're like, the United States is like getting back together. Like, they're kind of having a Detroit, Cleveland sort of situation, but like for 100 years. And like 100 years, like coming back from a recession, like things aren't okay.
Okay.
Like, there's a job in America.
Wait, the airships industry is booming, and Jason's studying at a college to be a computer programmer, which seems good.
Yeah, I get the impression that like the United States has had very hard times. Also, it has to be hard enough that the rich people decided that they wanted to go live in their bunkers. And from what we know, like something has to happen to convince the tycoons to go to their bunkers, and I think like there needs to be more.
Yeah.
Happening. So
they went to their bunkers.
Yeah.
But now people aren't in their bunkers. We shame the people who went to their bunkers.
Well, they also all died.
They all died.
They never came out.
Because
people buried them.
Yeah.
Or trapped them. So they were essentially buried alive in their own houses.
I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying any of that is good. I just want to know how it is that we come to this point where... So, I guess... Obviously, the U.S. isn't doing great. But that's in a relative sense. Mm-hmm. Like, we are given this as a... Like, yes, they had a recession. But... It also could be, like, this is Malaysia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it could be that in this scenario, like, the U.S. continued to abdicate responsibility for any sort of climate change, anything. And meanwhile, Asia really gets on that.
Mm-hmm.
And Asia is, like, totally ascendant. You know, it's the 21st century, it's the Asian century. Yeah. And by comparison, the U.S. sort of falters. Yeah. So maybe it's not that it becomes a Detroit-Cleveland situation, as you put it. Maybe it's sort of like, kind of like, I don't want to say now, because now is a very specific kind of now.
Now is a very specific moment.
But,
you're saying like U.S. and then the world.
Yeah.
Like this.
Like US kind of
like this.
Yeah. So I guess I'm wondering, like, is it that has the U.S. like completely tanked, or is the U.S. kind of plateaued and the rest of the world's like gotten their shit together?
It's possible too. I guess for everyone to go into their bunkers, something had to happen. And just because Alina is like, this is something that's very distant because I am new rich and we just eat them, doesn't mean that it actually is that distance, because 100 years is a really long time. Like, I don't know how, personally connected we feel to World War One.
I mean, I don't know. We're feeling pretty personally connected to Spanish flu right now.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't know what the Spanish flu was until, like, last week. I mean, not last week, but...
That's true. No, it was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah. No, you're right. World War I doesn't seem like this distant sort of memory.
Yeah, so I just mean, like, collective memories can be short, and I suspect that there was actually a trauma that is larger. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, like, rich people don't go away. They don't go hide in their bunkers. Like,
don't they?
Unless stuff's bad.
Yeah.
Like, somebody wants to kill all the rich because there's some sort of, like, revolution situation.
Okay.
Like, I don't think this is, like, a new solar technology, like, peacefully entered, and the other people were like, oh, I feel shame, I'm going to retreat to my bunker. Like, I think there had to be more, like, pitchforks.
Yeah. But they had militarized governments, which apparently now they don't. Now they have these peaceful airships.
We don't know that they don't have militarized governments. It may be that the United States ran out of money because of their 100-year-long recession.
That's true.
They never said that Malaysia had a militarized government. I don't think.
No, I don't think that's implied.
So, like, it might not have, like, just resolved nicely.
Well, that's dark. Okay, well, I think that we have...
I did like the ships, and I liked how I thought about how the author had probably recently taken a very long plane flight.
Yeah, you think you wrote this on a plane. It did remind me of the airport in... Where was the airport we went to? That was somewhere that had all of the, of this shape.
You're talking about the one in Doha?
Doha. Yeah, the room that she describes on the airplane reminds me of the entire architecture of the Doha airport.
It's a really
I
nice
apologize
airport.
to all of you for all of this.
That's very specific.
Very specific. Anyway, do we have anything more to say?
No.
No, we don't.
Do we get another chance at this next week? This
Yeah.
isn't like last one, right?
No, this isn't
okay,
last
good,
one.
because this is not my best.
Okay, that's fine. We did great. You know, it's week 14 and everybody's just doing their best. You're all doing your best. We salute you. Friday will be presentation from SCG Group 10, and I will post those slides. I think there's going to be some fun stuff with those slides, so look forward to that. And then next week we'll be back with kind of a sad one. But then the one for Wednesday is just silly, so that's the one we're gonna do our last. Those will be our last two, sad and silly. And I'll also have more information next week about the final. So, happy Wednesday, everybody, and we hope that you have a good weekend when it starts. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Oh no, I can't find the mouse. Bye.
Never.